get up. Let's get up. Welcome to the day. Welcome to the morning. Welcome to the walk and talk. How's everybody doing this morning? Hope everyone is feeling well. Hope everyone has woke up in a good mood. Thank you for being here. It's Oloropo. We are here again for another great walk and talk. It is 4:44 a.m. here on the East Coast. As always, please, as you check in, let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is where you are. Again, we are on the East Coast of the United States. Today is Thursday. It is the 18th. What day are we on? Is today the 18th? Thursday, the 18th of September. It is 2025, guys. Good morning. Thanks for being here. Let's wake up. Let's be blessed. Let's share this positivity, this growth, and this desire to see more, do more, be more. Do not give up on yourself ever. Remember always that your growth and development is in your hands. And those who do not support you don't matter. So let's spend more time focused on being with those and being around those who support you than talking about or engaging with those who don't. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Your results, your outcome are the proof. So continue to be you. Continue to develop and grow into the best version of you. And let your results speak for themselves. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the walk and talk. And this morning, we're going to talk, as you know, here at BNV Finance Fixers. The focus is simple. The focus is on discipline. It's on our efforts to grow our life, be better by applying discipline to every area, including finances. Good morning to Dave. How you doing, Dave? Yep, it's live, Dave. I've already read the comment. I know what you said, but please hang around. You don't have to leave. People, you don't have to delete your comments. As you check in, do me a favor. Let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is where you are. Let's talk about development. Today, however, we're going to be focusing on childcare, learning the history of it, and understanding the mindset that this country has always had about childcare. And then figure out what happened in order for it to be the way it is today. There is a cleared, distinguishing, is that a word? Distinguishing. There's a clear understanding that we have to have about the differences of what the purpose was originally and what we do and how we live with it now. Is that Corey? What's for breakfast? This morning, breakfast is gonna be cinnamon raisin bagel, fried egg, and some Swiss cheese with yogurt. And that's probably gonna fill me up. I was gonna say some oatmeal, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to do oatmeal this morning. So, standard. Dave, oh, that's restricted or removed. Spoiled kid. Hi, how are you doing, spoiled kid? Sky77, welcome in. Thank you for being here this morning. So we're going to talk about how childcare became this huge burden in today's society. How do we get to this point where childcare is the discussion that we seem to have most often when it comes to politics. We want to understand the background, the history, and also what should our expectations truly be? Like, why childcare? Was there a time where there was no childcare? Was there a time when there wasn't an expectation of childcare? If there was, what was in its place? Why was there a move to childcare? What was the catalyst? When did it start? We're going to figure this out this morning. We're not going to figure it out. We're not going to discuss it for the purposes of lamenting or complaining about where things are or where things came from. We're going to do it because having an understanding of how you got somewhere, like anything in life, is going to help you have an understanding on how to get to anywhere else, right? Oftentimes the roads that are traveled to arrive at a destination need to be retraveled in order to get to the next destination. Those roads travel two ways. And I'm not talking about going back in time, but as we have this discussion, you'll see that society that's actually what we're trying to do. And we're trying to do it without completely doing it. And we're trying to figure out a way to make it happen, and we don't understand what's going on. But we're going to talk about it this morning. Sky777. Do I know Joni Sins? Don't believe I do. Do a dark stream. I'm not even sure what that is. Emma, what's going on with society? A lot's going on with society. This morning we're going to talk about childcare. One for the road said, women in the workplace being a necessity rather than a choice. 2 wages needed. One for the road. Did you already get a copy of this? Are you from the future? Have you already gone through this video? One for the road. You hit the nail on the head. It's a short conversation, but it's in depth. And the reason it's in depth because we have to understand, as I always say here, everything requires discipline, right? Discipline has 4 pillars. It's repetition, which is just doing something over and over again, right? And then after the repetition, it's the patience to know it's going to take time. It's not going to happen immediately. Give it time. And then there's the consistency of watching it grow. And then you're going to end that off with perseverance. You just have to make it through the tough times to get to that place that you've decided your plan to go, right? And the first thing we have to understand, and we hear it a lot, and we often, like they've politicized it so much that when you hear it, it is almost like you have to be of one political ideation or another in order for you to have a position on it, right? And so like, oh, daycare. If you don't provide daycare, you're a bad person, right? Oh, well, the family nucleus has been destroyed, and because of the destruction of the family nucleus, there's no way for us to appropriately raise children, and everything is gone so bad, blah, 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 right? So I'll walk you through how we got here. Very funny. Obed said, how do you feel about death of Charlie Kirk? Covered that a few days ago. I have some shorts up about it. More than anything, it's just a person who lost his life publicly, and we seem to be caught up in making it a political thing. Muhammad said, where are you from, sir, and why night? I am from the East Coast of the United States, and it's the morning, really early morning, so just happened to be out. This is what I do. It's night because the sun is sleeping, obviously. Okay, skirt. Okay, skirt. Love your hair. Thank you very much. Been wearing it this way for a while. And Emma said, childcare is just getting too expensive in America. Right. So, and that's the thing. That's what we want to talk about. We want to remember this part of the conversation. Guys, thank you so much for being here. As always, my name is Oloropo. It is Thursday, September the 18th. It is now 4:54 in the morning. Thank you. When you check in, let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is where you are. And if you have not yet had the opportunity to do so, take a couple of seconds, double tap the screen, hit that like button. If you've seen anything or heard anything that you enjoyed, and it doesn't cost you anything, guys. Just a way to say I've been here and I heard, I've seen. So Emma said, checking in from Oregon. Welcome in from Oregon, Emma. The thing that's important, right, about this whole child care conversation, one of the things that we're going to have to keep in mind is that the original daycare as accepted in the United States. Welcome in from the UK. Good morning or evening, Gloria. The thing that you have to remember about the United States is that the first accepted, like publicly accepted daycare was in 1854 in New York. And it was created for a specific reason, because the middle class was viewed as upper class, and there were a lot of immigrants and poor people, people who used to work in the South, who used to work in the North, who used to have jobs or work on farms where you could simply take your children with you while you went to work, and they started to go work in factories. They started to go work in mines, because women needed to work. Some of them were because the poor immigrant families came in and they were like, hey, we're not gonna make it on $1 a day. We need at least $1.75, $1.50. And so they started doing it, and it was done as charity for the most part. And from that point, the middle class said, hey, we just need to provide help for these women so they can go work in these factories. And what you were finding was that a lot of children were becoming young criminals, they were becoming delinquents, they were dying very early. There were just a lot of things going on that, like, we just wanted to see a change. However, keep in mind, it was not something to be prideful about. Women working wasn't something to be happy about. You only worked in 1854 as a woman because you had to, right? The woman's job at that time, what they called separate spheres, was the man goes to work, the man makes the money, the man provides for the house. The woman stays home, raises the children, cares for the house, takes care of the bills, manages all of those things so that the man can focus on doing the work to care for the family. Now, here's the thing that's really interesting about this. In order for capitalism to work, one of the keys to capitalism is I'm going to give you the problem and then I'm going to sell you the solution. So what had to happen was we needed to, as a nation, we needed to break up the concept of women being home, caring for the children, caring for the house, and we needed to make that a bad thing. We needed to make it evil, right? We needed to make it something where it was wrong and just against all of the morals of humanity. It's not okay for men to work. And so what did we do? So first we had to make it about, oh, I can do anything you can do. Or we had to create the need. Hey, you're poor, both of you need to work, right? This was something that was in the poor community. It was only the poor who deemed they needed to have it. We move forward many years. We jump into a couple of world wars. We send most of the men off to war who work in the industries and the factories. So we have to bring the women into work. We can't have you walking around with a 3-year-old on your hip. Okay, government came out 100% child care. If you go to work in one of these industries, we will pay for your child care. the war ended. After these women had supported and worked for years, the war ended. Many of them now don't have husbands. They didn't come back from the war. Many of them now, their husbands come back and they're broken. No one's paying attention to PTSD at this time. Come back and they're injured. And you're just in this situation where these women need to work. And the government immediately when the war was over was like, we're done, don't come back tomorrow. I don't know, figure it out. Like, I got a job, yeah, figure it out, right? So after that is when the child care for profit kicked in, okay? Now, I'm not saying that these things are necessarily evil. I am saying we have to understand, in order for us to get here, we had to be taught, told, and convinced of something, right? And that is where we start to see this change, where it starts to become the women's movement, right? Oh, the feminist movement, suffrage. You can do anything a man can do. You don't have to choose this, right? We went through a period of time, and this isn't ancient history. We're talking about our lifetime now. We're talking about the 70s and the 80s. We're talking about part of the civil rights movement was the rights for women. And so women rights, right? They did two things. First thing they did, and I don't know why this was, is I can be whoever I want. I could dress however I want. And there was this push to have women go from being respectful to themselves and in the eyes of others to my freedom is I should be able to expose myself in any way I want to in public. I don't understand how that is a designation of freedom. I don't understand how that is a statement of who you are. That part just didn't make sense to me. And then the second thing that happened was, you need to respect me. Well, the whole thing that you're doing is begging for the opposite of respect. So we're going through all of these periods of change, and now we get to the point where women are like, I don't need a man at all. I don't need a man at all. So this is not trust me, this is not a political or religious-based conversation. It's just the understanding of how things change because we don't pay attention to what we're trying to do. And we allow for what others want to do to control the direction that we take, right? And that is going to be one of the major downfalls for anything in your life. So this happened over a little over 100 years. Right around 1920 is when it kicked in earnest. Around the mid-1900s, around 1950s is when it was like, oh, definitely. And now here we are in 2025, about 75 years later, and we're crying for childcare and the cost of childcare when what used to be the norm was families cared for families. It was important for grandmas, grandpas, aunts, and uncles to be a part of raising the families, for sisters and brothers to care for one another, because the value is not in the money you pay, it's in the work that you do. Understanding that what you need to do is important and that you're working towards a goal, that you're helping the family achieve. And that takes investment that's not financial. So now we have upper middle class. And keep in mind, this program was never designed by the United States to be a permanent thing. Every time it was instituted, it was temporary. It was a transition. It was a step from one to the next. And even then, women would pay somewhere between a nickel to a dime for a day. And their income was capped out at around 75 cents a day. So even then, you were paying greater than, in some cases, 5 to 10% of what you made for the day, right? Whereas now you are seeing daycare starts at 10% to 20% of your freaking monthly or weekly income. It's significantly higher. All of this is because the program in the United States was never designed to be permanent. I get it. We gotta work. Like we have to work. Parents have to go out now. We need 2 parents. But when you look at the math and one of you goes to work and the other one goes to work and 80% of that second paycheck goes to childcare, it's all of a sudden like, what? Are we serious right now? Like, what sense does it make for the other parent to go to work? It doesn't matter if it's the mom or the dad. It doesn't matter. Until you get to a certain degree of wealth, a certain degree of income, where it's like, oh, I don't care because I can afford it, right? So the wealthy never saw caring for care for their children as childcare. It was just a natural part of their life. We move away. I get it. I hired an au pair. We have a nanny. We have someone who comes in and cares for the children. I have the things that I need, right? Because there's this mentality that, oh, everything is fine. My situation isn't your situation. You need daycare. You need help. I hired someone to be here for my children. So they don't look at it the same. They don't look at it like childcare, right? They look at it as just a natural part of their life. But you poor people can't afford to have someone dedicated to raising your child. So you need daycare so you can go to work. I have childcare because I have more important things to do with my time. And this person is dedicated to just my child to ensure their upbringing, right? So we have to first give you a problem and then sell you the solution, right? Now, here we are, 2025. How should childcare be taken care of? Should it be supported by the government? Should it be something that we pay for? Should it be a hybrid plan? Well, we need to get back to the crux of it first. We need to get back to understanding that this is all, we're talking about the money side of it. And as long as we're thinking about the money side of it, we're never really going to find the appropriate solution, right? We're talking about caring for the children. It's child care, right? So how do we care for our children? It is a $60 billion a year industry in the United States. $60 billion a year in the United States. In child care, that is an enormous amount of money. And we're here and we're at this point, and now we want the government to pay for it. And I keep repeating this, it wasn't designed for us to be able to stay on it for long periods. It's not designed for it to be a permanent thing, right? Here's the other thing you have to consider. I feel like this is important. We went so far into protecting the children that we now prevent our children from growing up. There's a playground, and I shared this before, a playground that was recently built in my neighborhood. And they have one playground that's for toddlers to 5-year-olds. And then they have a second playground that's built for 5-year-olds to 12-year-olds. And I took my youngest daughter, she'll be 3 in December, to this playground. She played on that little toddler playground for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes. And she saw this big one, and she was like, okay, how do I get up there? Like I saw her little brain working as she walked around and tried to figure out how to climb it. And I mean, this thing is tall. It's got one of the big loop sliding boards, a really steep one. I mean, this thing is big. And so you not only have to climb steps, but then you have to climb a ladder. And then you're at the very top and you're looking down this sliding board. My 3-year-old, soon to be 3-year-old daughter went to the top of this sliding board. First couple of times she looked down and she was like, nah, I'm not doing that. Then she saw another kid do it. Now she does it on a regular. We have gotten so afraid of our children being hurt that we don't allow them to experience what's necessary for them to grow. I'm not saying go back to the days of 1854 when children as young as 5 were being employed in mines because they were small and they could fit into spaces where others couldn't fit, to install and to install dynamite and search through crevices where others weren't able to go. I'm not saying put our children in that situation, but let's stop acting like falling down and skinning your knee is gonna kill you. Let's stop acting like pouring milk in a bowl of cereal is gonna make you go broke. Let's stop acting like learning how to turn on a freaking stove is gonna be the death of society. We have gotten so, committed to protecting our children that our children are children into their 30s. We've got to stop. So how does this apply to childcare? It applies to childcare in this way, people. When we focus on the children being the thing that is important versus focusing on the money, then the people in the community learn how to come together. There's a big drive right now in the United States. I don't want to work. So we had oh my goodness, I'm old. When millennials hit the workplace and I was a manager and they were like, yeah, I don't want to work on Wednesday. Okay, we open on Wednesday. Like, yeah, but I don't want to work on Wednesday. It's like, well, we let you know that the job's between Monday to Friday. Yeah, I can't work on Wednesdays. If you want me to work on Wednesdays, it won't be until afternoon. I'm like, you can't tell a company that you only want to work on Wednesday after 12. Not because it wasn't possible, but because I wasn't smart enough to demand the same thing. And so that started a push of what we now refer to in the private sector as, good morning, Ron, how you doing, brother? That now brings us to a point where here in the private sector, what are everybody talking about now in the private sector, everybody? What is it important to have when you come in? Oh, I need work-life balance. Oh, our company is really dedicated to work-life balance because it's important for you to be able to have an understanding of how important your family is in relationship to how important it is to make money to care for your family. We care about that. You need work-life balance. Here are the number of days you get off. Didn't used to be a thing. Here's how you can manage your schedule. Didn't used to be a thing. The world had to change, but guess what it's changing to? It's going backwards in terms of saying, hey, we made the world focus so long on grinding that we've lost human connection. And that loss of human connection has lost the value of human lives. And this loss in the value of human lives has led to murders. We are so desensitized to school shootings that they happen and we don't talk about them. They're easy to be moved from the top of the list down. We don't discuss them. We don't even care. We send our children to school every day. I remember after the first mass shooting here in the United States at Columbine, parents across the country were afraid to send their kids to school for weeks. I mean, for weeks, because there was a fear that there would be something similar. There would be a copycat. And now this thing happens. This thing happens on at least a monthly basis, bi-monthly at the most. And we still pack our children up every day. We don't even talk about it. They're walking around with bulletproof backpacks. The same day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there was a school shooting in Colorado where children lost their lives. It didn't even make it on the news. Nobody watches that anymore because the value of the human was diminished. What are we looking for? Why are we talking about Charlie Kirk more than we're talking about murdered children? Because Charlie Kirk has a larger audience. About to get hit by a car, people. Because Charlie Kirk has more clicks. You know, y'all better pray for me. I'm out here in this darkness walking. You know? And we have to understand that we are a part of this process. We have to understand that moving away from this is going to require us to move away from it, for us to participate, for us to understand the value of humans again. I'm not saying Charlie Kirk didn't matter. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying human lives matter. And we've now been put at odds with one another. And this childcare is about removing the children from the home, removing the parents from the home to go to work. It's not about breaking down the families. No, that's not what it was. Go make money for me. I have a large company. I need more people to work. I need men and women to work. This does not support a strong family. This doesn't support marriages staying together because the focus isn't the humanity of it. The focus is the economics of it. And the economics of it are simple. The human life has less value than my bottom line. I don't know what your family gonna look like, but I do know childcare is something for the poor. It's how it was created by design. So don't be surprised. Listen to me. And this blew my brain up when I read it and I studied it and I saw that from its genesis, its design was that childcare is something for the working class. It is something for poor people. And I found myself lamenting and asking and begging and demanding more help for childcare. I had to accept that I was poor in my mindset. I was poor in my mentality. Nothing in my life was going to be correct as long as I maintained a poor mindset. No, I'm not saying that there isn't a need for some child care and that two-family incomes or two-parent income homes are in some way need to be demonized. No, I'm not saying that there always has to be a parent at home. No, I am saying the mindset that me making this money is more important than me making great human beings is a poor mentality. And I had to fix it. I had to change things. I had to look at what I was doing, why I was doing it, and how I was doing it. Because the value of my children supersedes the value of a check that comes into the house. I had to change my mentality. Now here's where the trick is, guys. Here's where we're gonna flip the switch on them. This change in mentality did not mean I needed to focus on spending more time at home and making less money. Nope. It made me focus on spending more time at home and making more money faster. I don't want to pay for childcare. If I can be home more, I don't have to pay for childcare. So I don't need to spend more money on childcare. I don't need to focus on childcare so me and my wife are away from our children more. That's not what I need to focus on. I need to focus on putting more money into our life so we can spend less time away from our children. So we can focus on what's important to us, which is being with each other. It's not just childcare, people. We buy homes that we spend less than 16 hours a week awake in. We wake up, we go to work. The home is more of a burden than it is a freaking pleasure. We leave out the house. We spend 10 hours between commuting and working. Then we need a break. You don't even want to go back to the house when you first get off. You asking everybody in the office, man, what y'all get ready to go do? What y'all about to do? You get back at the house, you throw your stuff to the side, you fall asleep, you wake up in the morning, you run back out again. You do that 5 days a week. You burn the candle at both ends. You finally get a day off. One, you don't care, you're not taking care of yourself. You haven't made yourself a priority. So when you get a day off, you don't wake up until noon. You wake up every day. You wake up every day for this company at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, because it's time to go grind. But when it's the day for you to work on your health, the day for you to spend with your family, the day for you to be able to get up and nourish and build that relationship with your loved ones, you don't wake up until 1 o'clock because you beat trying to make somebody else's lifestyle great. And then you're talking about childcare. We have to get the priorities right. I'm not saying that what we need to do is just start leaving family members at home. I'm not. I'm saying more than in any other time in this world. We have the opportunity to grow our wealth and grow our family at the same time. And the reason for growing our wealth, the primary reason for growing our wealth, is to be with our family. I don't want to pay anybody else to take care of my children. If I'm gonna pay anybody, I'm gonna pay my wife. I'm gonna work and I'm gonna earn so that I can turn to my wife and I can tell her, not only do I love you, not only do the things that I do and the way that I show up show that I value you, but we're gonna turn this into currency. Here, do it what you want with it. It's not a bad, if you can turn around and pay somebody else's wife, somebody else's daughter, somebody else's sister, somebody else's aunt to watch your child for $1,200 a week, $600, $400, whatever it is. If you're gonna turn around and pay somebody else that, why can't you walk into the house and just give your wife money? No, it shouldn't feel bad at all. It shouldn't feel strange at all. And most wives are gonna be like, I don't even know what the fuck, like what? I don't even know what to do with this. You gave me $400. What am I supposed to do with this? I'm supposed to put it in a pillow? Put it under the mattress? If you don't put this back in the bank? The way you truly show that connection is by letting your partner know, by letting your wife know. And wife, if you're the breadwinner, let your husband know that we are what we're doing this for. We made this decision because we understand the importance and the value of our relationship, of our connection. It took years of driving people and families apart. Divorce rate higher than 50%. Blended families everywhere you look. Dad got divorced, married some other woman who had 2. They got divorced, got back with his first wife who now has a child by somebody else. Kids got 7 parents. Come on. It's the relationships. Because we spend so much time trying to get that money. It's not about wanting to have the money. It's about the amount of time and energy that we commit to it. And this is how childcare has become a burden. Because childcare was never designed to be a permanent fixture. Childcare was never designed for it to be the way things would work. It wasn't designed for the wealthy. And now we've been convinced that we're wealthy. And if you're standing out here in the line demanding childcare, and you're going on all of these shows, all of these talks, all of these news stories, all of these things, and you're talking about, I need childcare, we need help with childcare, and then the people who you're shouting it to, the people who are sitting there asking you the questions and acting like they're so concerned, don't have your same problem. They don't live the same way you live. They don't think the same way you think. Discipline is required for us to go anywhere. I had to understand, man, and you're talking about hurting my brain. You're talking about hurting my heart, and understanding that I had to make a change in the way I thought to see a change in my life. I had to stop looking at myself as a victim. I had to understand that there were different ways to do things. And then I needed to understand, if I want to spend time with my family and I want to be able to provide things for my family, then I need to change the way that I go about living my life. It's not about making more money. It's about making the same money, just doing it faster. You don't have a childcare concern when you can be home. You can be at events that your children go to. You can be around them. You can nurture them. You can help them grow. Me and my wife had this issue for so long. We were working opposite of each other. I'm talking about almost completely destroyed us. I worked during the day. She worked at night. We saw each other in passing. We didn't even have the same days off. I had to take days off during the week. I had to fix my schedule so I had certain days off during the week so that she could just do and get rest on those days, just to be able to survive on the following days. She got a job and we were like, oh, this is a good job. This is going to work. And we said, we're going to put our youngest child in daycare. And then we went to pay daycare one time, and she had just got her check, and we were like, this is a good job. And she said, oh, I'm gonna go pay daycare. And her bank account got cut in half for paying for 1 week of daycare. Got cut in half. And we were like, what are we doing? What are we doing? There's a lot more to it than that. We had to convince society that being a stay-at-home mom wasn't valuable. First thing they did is they tried to convince women that men didn't value them being at home taking care of the children. Oh, he doesn't respect you. We have to tell all the bad news stories. We have to tell all of the downside. Oh, he's at work. He's getting a better quality of life. He's talking to people. He's making friendships. And you're just sitting at home, taking care of the children. You deserve more than that. You deserve more than what you have. Had to make the women hate the life that they had. Had to make the women hate their happiness. Listen, people, it doesn't just happen in daycare. If you are not careful, people will convince you to hate your happiness. They will convince you to hate the life you have. You have to be very careful with it. And so this process happened, and it took time, a number of years. Then we had to get to the point where, hey, look, you deserve, you can do everything a man can do. Who said you couldn't? Like, wait a minute, what are we fighting about? If I'm out here trying to help you be whatever it is you want to be, who said you can't go to work? Ain't nobody fighting that. So what do? Same thing they do today with the news. They go find, they're like, we want to prove that men don't care about women. Man, they dig. They go through 800 men. They find that one. Woman's place is in the home, raising my babies. She come out that home, it better be get milk and get back in there and take care of my babies. She ain't got no business out here in no man's world. She don't know what's going on there. They find that one guy. They find that one guy. Even men are like, oh, whoa, come on, James, no. They find that one guy and they put him on the news. Now the whole world is like, yeah, we can't be like James. Least common denominator. They say, man, yeah, man. All of a sudden we're like, man, we can't be like James. We can't be like that. Now we're trying to fix a problem that don't exist. We're trying to find a resolution to the issue that does not exist. You go talk to the women and the women are like, I got a good husband. I love my children. I take pride in what I do in taking care of my household. My husband's good. My husband's a good man. Well, don't you think you deserve to have the right to go out and make your own money? What the? And if you are married and you think for a second that you are making your own money, you're not going to stay married. Do you understand what I mean when I say they had to break down and destroy what the mindset of what a life was? They had to give you a problem where there wasn't one. Don't you think you deserve to make your own money? I don't have, nothing that I have is my own. My children are not my own. My house, my car, my time is not my own. It's we, it is us. We are bound together. And then somebody comes in and brings you a problem. Then we had this whole movement. I'm an independent woman. Be independent. Oh, I can't find a good man. Surprise, surprise, independent woman. We created a problem. Men don't walk around talking about, I'm an independent man. No. Someone told you that you had something to prove, and you worked so hard on proving it that you never get the opportunity to just enjoy your freaking life. Ain't nobody saying you can't work. Ain't nobody saying you can't live. There was a TV show years back called Murphy Brown. And the whole thing about this, and there was this whole, they made it so political. I thought the show was kind of funny, but her whole plight became, hey, I'm a professional woman who focused on having a strong career and taking care of things in the appropriate way in order for me to build my career and become who I wanted to be as a news journalist. And I'm at the top of my field, and I am 50 and I have no children. So I'm gonna go out and I think one time she's decided she wanted to do surrogacy, and then one time she was gonna do fertilization or whatever the cases was, and it became a whole thing. It's freaking Dan Quayle on the news talking about her like she's a bad person because she didn't have a husband and she wanted a child. Who created this problem for us? Who created this system? We didn't decide we wanted to be here. Someone else told us this is where we needed to be. This is who we needed to be. The way childcare became a burden on American families is because someone else told us that this is how our life needs to be. We are not sitting down having a conversation with the person across from us about, hey, what do you want? What are your values? What makes you happy? Then they sit at home and they watch these shows. You go off to work, you and your wife been happy for years. She's been happy. She's raised the first 2 children. You guys talk about it like, hey, we got 2 girls. Do you want to take a shot at a boy one more time? And then it's like, yeah, I want to take a shot at a boy. And you guys decide to sit down and take this opportunity to have this 3rd child. And then all of these shows that come on during the day, all true crime stories. Husband leaves wife, killed by mistress. Oh, So many dissatisfied women, news stories, talk shows, daytime dramas telling you how horrible the woman's life is, hour after hour after hour, until you start to see yourself in there. And then your husband comes home and he's like, sweetheart, I'm home, I'm happy to see you, I love you. He trying to figure out, oh, well, normally there's dinner, why is dinner? You think I'm gonna stand here and cook your dinner for you? And like, oh, wait, we agreed on this. No one, like we don't have the rule of thumb anymore. Anybody know what the rule of thumb is? The rule of thumb used to be, there was a law in the land that said a man could beat his woman with a stick as long as it was not thicker than his thumb. That's what the rule of thumb is. You big hand bammers, you married. I see dudes walking around proposing, talking about, man, look how thin my thumb is. I got a little Listen to me. So we're sitting around here and we're allowing other people to feed our minds. We talk about we have to be careful of what we allow our children to see. We have to be careful of what we allow our children to take in and be around. But we're not careful about what we see, what we sit down and take in, what we're around, what's feeding us and our thoughts. It's driving families apart. It's driving parents out of the home. Now I have to have childcare. Childcare is a must. It went from a temporary carryover to provide support for parents who needed to work at a time where labor was horrific. Child mortality was at an all-time high. Suffering was the norm. People grew up in trash. They grew up in garbage. There was disease everywhere. And if you were not an immigrant or poor, and you took your child to one of these, what are you doing, Mary? What are you doing taking your child here? We were fed, we were told that this is how it has to be. Here's the key to taking it back, people. Here's the key to making a change. Stop letting other people tell you who you need to be or what makes you happy. If you can't figure out what makes you happy, if you can't sit down and look at yourself and understand what makes you happy and when you're happy and how you're happy, if you can't sit down and do that, don't get upset with someone else when they don't make you happy. They can't. It is impossible. Dude, if you got married and you married this woman because she looked good and you're like, this is gonna make me happy. And then all of a sudden, you've been married to her and you're like, well, man, I'm not really happy. Okay, what you looking at her for? What you yelling at her for? What you mad at her for? You don't know what makes you happy. You get to this point and you don't even know what happy is. We beat it out of our children. As little children know what makes them happy, being with their parents. I don't need nothing else. I don't know nothing, but I know being next to this thing, being next to whatever this thing is, whoever this thing is right here, it makes me happy. And I know it when I'm there. I know it every time they touch me, every time they hold me, every time I hear their voice, every time I listen to their heartbeat. I know I'm happy. I know I'm content. And then they get older and older, and all of a sudden we start telling them, because they're 5 years old and they're 4 years old, hey, I can't be picking you up all the time. You gotta walk, you're a big girl now. What? When did my life change? Like you were just holding me. That's not spoiling your children, that's nurturing them. That's teaching them love. That's you maintaining this care that you say you have. Your adult your adult concerns and thoughts spilling over into their life. And they're your 6-year-old kid walking around angry. We're not letting them experience enough to be prepared with experiencing something. My 3-year-old daughter went to this playground and she's climbing up onto this highest part of the playground. And she was afraid to go down the slide. And she called me and she said, "Daddy, slide." And I was like, "Baby, you want to climb that down?" And she was like, "No, Daddy, slide." I was like, "Okay, baby." So I got up there, set her on my lap, and we slid down together the first time. I said, "Baby, you want to go again?" She said, "No." Went back a couple of days later. She went up there. She looked. She called me again. "Daddy, slide." I said, "You want to go down again?" She said, "No." Walked off over there playing with the other children. My older daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, said, "Daddy, look." And there where my baby was at the top of the slide, going down on her own. You don't have to push your children away. You just have to nurture them, encourage them to grow, watch them grow, be there to support them as they grow. And when we teach this to our children when they're young, our children know how to become that as they get older. We've spent generations teaching ourselves that there is no one there for us. We've spent generations teaching ourselves that the only people who are going to help you are the people you pay. The only people who are there for you are outside of your house. We've spent time pushing us away from each other, dehumanizing each other, turning each other into characters to the point that the loss of life doesn't even bring a pause in your day. This isn't an indictment. This isn't a punishment. This is not me telling anybody that the way they're living their life is wrong. It's simply an expression of how I believe we can take discipline and work on restoring the things that are important to us. If your family is most important to you, prove it. My family is very important to me. And the reason I focus on my finances and getting them in place is because the better suited my finances are, the more time I have to spend with my family. Building wealth is not about being rich and acquiring things. Building wealth is about buying back my freedom, buying back my time, walking away from being away from my family for 10, 12 hours a day. See them when they wake up, miss out on all of their events, send them to somebody else so that I can spend more time working, so that they see us less. I had a job where I worked away from home, and I came home and my children couldn't wait to see me every time I came home. I would travel, I would be gone for a week or 2 weeks, and I would come home exhausted. And when I came home, my children were elated to see me. And we watch these videos of people returning from war and from service and their children just excited to see them. Do you understand the part that that parent at home plays? That family at home plays in understanding that your mama and your daddy, they're out there, but they love you. Do you understand the importance that that plays in maintaining that bond and that love? Because we see the exact same thing when parents walk out the door to go do whatever, gamble, get high, get lost, cheat. We see the same thing, but they don't return and get that same love at home because there's no one at home telling them that that person is out there doing a good thing for you. That person at home matters, people. You matter, your children matter. We are all about growth and development here. We're all about being able to see where we've been and where we're going. takes discipline. It takes focus. Stop letting others tell you who you need to be. Stop letting others tell you or show you what your problems are. And you can't find happy because all the world does is show you, hey, here's your problem. Here's where things are bad. Here's where you need to change. I believe the things that we do and our ability to do them are within us. We have to ask ourselves some tough questions. We have to be self-aware and self-accountable. We have to be aware of what our behaviors were, and we have to hold ourselves accountable for the behaviors and the actions that we take that do not align with where we say we want to be. You can't find happy if you don't know what it looks like. We spend so much time chasing what someone else says life should look like that we never get enough time to stop and say, hey, I'm happy. I appreciate where I am. I want to thank you all for being here this morning, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that like button, double tap the screen. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just a way to say, hey, I came, I saw, I either heard, said, laughed, or cried. Just a way to support. I would really appreciate it. I want to read some of these comments. River Crab says, or is it Greek? Not sure what that one is about. I'm not sure if there was I'm not going all the way back up in the comments. I'm just reading some of them. I do see here, Matthew said, one of my earlier dates with my now wife, I carried her up a mountain for 5 miles. I think that that's pretty reflective of how I care for my children and my family. Dude, you carry anything for 5 miles. You could have carried her backpack for a block. You carried her up a mountain for 5 miles? Man, shoot. Y'all should have got married at the top of the mountain. That's what I'm talking about. My bad. I don't know how I got that so wrong. I said real talk. Slaves saw their children more than us. Real talk. Real talk. They lived through a lot of pain, but they were with their children. Slavery wasn't a positive thing. And I'm never saying go back and, hey, we had a stronger family structure. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm not. I'm just saying that spending time with your children matters. It has importance. It should be important to you. River Crab said, or we can just band together and teach each other to mess over the rich people who keep us in chains, forced to give our time to multiple jobs. Nah, just focus on finding a way for you to turn your time into something more valuable. Make more money with your time. That's all. You don't need to make more money. You just need to make the amount of money you make faster. That's all. Put your money to work for you. Get to a grind. That's why we call it BNV Finance Fixers. For most of us, it's not that we don't know what to do. It's just that we don't have the discipline to do it. It takes time. It's not instantaneous, but it can happen. Falcon said, God is proud of you, man. Thank you, Falcon. Midnight Society. Yes. Let's take the U.S. back. I hear you, Midnight. Davina, may God bless you. God bless you as well. My, oh my, said River Crab. A lot of crabs in the barrel, in this barrel. Ben, welcome in, brother. How are you doing today? One for the road said at NT, your problem, not his. I didn't read NT's comment. I'm not sure what that was about. Sweaty guy, it can be when you pray. Sweaty guy Orlando said, I guess that may be in response to someone else. Wisdom said, don't have kids if you can't provide them education, asset, and wisdom. Right. We have to work on ourselves. It's important for us to get the mask on us before we put it on others. Again, I want to appreciate you guys coming in. As always, please take the time, like, subscribe, share. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like button. I'm out here every morning between 4:30 and 6 a.m. I want to make sure you guys understand that the focus here at BNV Finance Fixers is to help you understand and develop growth, understand the building of wealth, understand how important it is for you to know how to focus on you and your development. The importance is going to be discipline. We always share it here. Discipline has 4 pillars. It's repetition, which is getting started. Patience, the understanding it's not going to happen overnight. And then you're going to have consistency, which is the building of a plan that you follow to reach your goal. And you're going to end off with perseverance. Perseverance is the thing that works on you, and it makes you who you need to be when you see what it is you want to see. I want to appreciate all you guys for being here today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you. Please come back, see more, check out the channel. Please like, subscribe, share. We continue to go towards 2,500 subscribers. We're about 30 away, 25 away at the top of the morning. We're also moving towards monetization. You can visit the channel. There's ways for you to support. You can pick yourself up some apparel. You can contribute directly through links that are inside of the description. But again, thank you for being here. River Crab said the American dream is dead. Not fully dead. All right, NT said good luck when you send your kids to the front line during war. Thank you guys for stopping in. I appreciate you. Much love. And for all of you guys who are out there, you're headed out into your day, remember, keep showing up, keep blowing up, and keep growing up. God bless you guys. Until next time, take care.